We just want to greet you in Jesus' precious name. I want to tell you, folks, before I met the Lord, I was an arrogant, self-righteous, self-opinionated man. You see, you can't get anybody worse than a self-made Scottish, all the Scots won't thank me for that, farmer who started from nothing. I'll do it my way. You know, like Frank Sinatra, Blue Eyes, and that song, My Way. Now, I know it's a famous song, but it's a sad song because you can't do it your way. It doesn't work. I found that out. It took me 32 years to realize that. We do it God's way. And God's got a way of breaking you down until you humble yourself. We were just talking, the camera crew and myself, about Snowy, this horse of mine. You see how well behaved he is? He wasn't so well behaved early on. He was very naughty. He was doing his own thing, but he's quietened right down because we've had a good chat, the two of us. Folks, often the hardships of life will humble you. You know, I came down from Zambia, I'll do it my way, and I tell you what, when we started on this farm, there was nothing here. If you've seen the movie Faith Like Potatoes, it gives you an idea of what happened. The Lord allowed me to be broken down until there was nothing left. And then I gave my life to Him, submitted my life to Him, and then He resurrected me. And that's what's going to happen in every one of our lives. Not just my life, every one of our lives. Humility is a great virtue and a sign of a mighty man or woman of God. I think the greatest of all in the New Testament was the Apostle Paul. He was completely broken. You know, he was a very arrogant man before he met the Lord on the road to Damascus. He was a member of the Sanhedrin, the inner circle. Okay, he was a priest of note. He was a teacher of the word. He had his motive was to destroy every Christian that he could find. He was self-righteous. He was broken down and he was struck blind. And then he started his life. And the Lord said, this man is going to suffer for me. Folks, there's nobody in the Bible that suffered more, I don't think, not even Job, than Paul. He was stoned twice, left for dead. He was shipwrecked, I don't know how many times. He was beaten. He was the offscouring of the earth. But you know something? He wrote 2/3 of this New Testament. People were healed, set free. He was the original missionary. When all the rest of the disciples were staying in Jerusalem, he was already out on his way. Why? Because God had humbled him and he had offered up his life for the Lord. Let's just go to Philippians chapter 2, and I'm just going to read a couple of verses, starting from verse 17. Start from 16. He says, the former preached Christ from selfish ambition, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my chains. He says, verse 17, but the latter out of love, knowing that I am appointed for the defense of the gospel. What then? Only that in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached. And in this I rejoice, yes, and will rejoice. You know, sometimes you've got to become a doormat in order to be used of the Lord. Sometimes you've got to be totally insignificant, where other people take all the glory and you do all the work. Are you prepared to do that? Paul was. Okay? He was never thought of again. Would you continue to do that if you were cast down? He says that. But I want to tell you something now, folks. He didn't do it for people, for self-recognition. He did it for Christ, because Christ died for him and gave him a second chance. I'm preaching the gospel to you today, not for any self-edification. I'm not asking anything from you. I'm pleading with you to give your life to Jesus so that you can have a life of fulfillment like I have. I want to encourage you, folks, don't be offended if you've been cast aside. Just remember one thing, to be in God's perfect will is the best way to live this life. Until next time, goodbye.